our day?
Can we just give a good 21?
No.
3, 2, 1.
21 anti noises. Here we go. What's really exciting about this moment right now is episode 20 is posting in about 30 minutes while we're recording this, but all the weirdness of time. Some cool stuff we got going on. 50 subscribers on YouTube.
Hey!
1,000 views plus total content.
Nice.
Other things that I mentioned earlier. Over 100 watched hours, which is also really cool.
Wow.
And I'm missing one. There was something else.
Tim's wife had a baby.
Tim's wife and Tim and Lindsay is having a baby.
Yeah.
So celebrating that.
And
episode 20. And that's the thing that we've recorded 20 full
20
episodes. And Cicero's gone. You're gonna pause.
Not
We've
yet.
only had to restart
right?
recording 80 times.
Yes, but we still make it.
Yeah.
So it's a cool moment, a cool milestone of what we're creating, what we're doing. It's a really awesome moment. Celebrating that, and we've got merch now.
Hey,
look at that! Whoa, how is it possible?
Yeah. So
Where can we get it, Dan?
if you look down right now, wherever you are in the internet world, there will be a little blue word that says merch. Merch is here. And if you click that, you will see t-shirts, sweatshirts, zip-ups, mugs, canvas bags, pint glasses, tank tops that are, if you order them extra small and pink, they will come extra small and pink and nobody can wear them. Which I have done. I have an extra small pink tank top that was supposed to be a large.
Oh no.
It's okay. So check that out. Some cool stuff moving and going there. Otherwise, let's go ahead and recap session 20.
Okay.
Would you like to recap it?
No.
At some point, I would love to pass the recap on to y'all, but I don't think we're going to.
And chill.
Yeah. So we ended 20 with right. We conversed with this lion creature that was created that has taken dominion over this lab. And Cicero had smelled like someone that this lion creature has smelled before. And so, with that, Cicero then transformed to look like his father, as he remembers his father to look like. And then the creature immediately became very submissive to this thin, tall, older, elvish looking creature. This person, not a creature. Much like Cicero, but an older version of him. And with that, you all just kind of got free pass and free reign to be within this creature's presence. It no longer continued to attack, but this was after you killed the little pup dogs that were around it as well. And then in response to that, you also met Megon, a man that was trapped in a closet of some sort. That Cicero then began to talk with, and Thule saw some similar appearances in the face of Megon, and a very stark similarity to Cicero as well, though their health is very different, and some of the lines of their face and shape and things like that are not a perfect copy, but enough to cause some suspicion, which Julie brought up, and then Cicero started to think very heavily about. And that was kind of about where things ended. Cicero being very interested in looking over the notes that was found in this lab, and seeking this Brith character. Brith being who the keeper, the one who was given domain over this lab, had referred to. And so with that, he's gonna pour over some reading while you are all in this lab. And this lion creature is padding its way around the halls as well, just kind of following Cicero around, and they're discussing and talking, kind of catching up on some things. But you all are in this lab now. What would you like to do?
Science.
Is the lion boy still here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's he's with Cicero. They've kind of moved back over to that the room where you met him in. You all are further down in the hallway by the closet where Megon had come out of.
Are they leaving for somewhere?
Cicero is talking about leaving after he does some reading and studying. From the conversation you can now hear in the other room that I didn't take a lot of time to unpack with him while he was here, but the lion creature is not interested in leaving and is not going to.
Oh no.
Under any circumstances.
I am not
Under any rolls.
But real quick, what are people's perception modifiers? So what do you add to perception checks when you're making one?
+5.
2, 5, 1.
5?
I perceive,
That's all you
but I
got.
don't fight.
Perceptive.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
Hmm?
It's gonna be.
I don't initiate. Perceive. Why do you ask?
Yeah. What is that?
+3.
Okay, and... Okay. You're very good.
We're so close. How much more of this?
That's +2.
+2.
While you all are kind of unpacking and seeing Cicero walk away and listening to this conversation and just trying to get a sense of like what else are we doing, what is around us, what are our intentions, and kind of just taking in all this information. Pilgrim, you notice in the closet that Nikon had come from, you can see just like a faint glow and glint of some magical light on the floor in the back corner.
Pilgrim is going to turn to Thule and say, Thule, there seems to be something of a perhaps magical sort on the ground just there. And I kind of indicated. I would hesitate to touch whatever this is until it perhaps gets the inspection of a magic user.
Thule had already gone through the door. And when you said that, stopped and turned and
I'm
said,
talking to your dust cloud.
and said, "Oh, okay. Do you want me to check it out?"
That would be wonderful.
Okay. I would like to walk up to the glow, towards the glow, but not touch it, and see what I see.
Do you also have dark vision?
I have dark vision and shades of red.
Oh,
This
fascinating.
is a fire jealousy.
Right.
Artistic.
I'm always angry.
As you enter the room, and you can see that it's not just straight walls in one rectangle, but halfway through there's kind of a half wall, and so there's 2 chambers to it. This glint is on the far back left corner, which you could see, and as you step forward and can now see more into the back right corner, there's within your shades of these darker colors and the hues all kind of looking very similar to each other. Eventually your eyes adjust and you can see some depth, and there's just a pile of bones kind of pushed off to that right side. And you can see the skulls of a couple that look human shaped. And then in that back corner, as your vision focuses, it's just a ring, metallic ring sitting off into the corner of it too. And beyond all of that, you are literally kicking up some dust as you are moving away from Pilgrim, and the chalky residue of some of the spells and things that you've seen on the ground. There is a lot of it on the ground here, of older magic that has been done or woven into the floor here in the way that these spell circles have been in other rooms too.
You said it was a metal ring in the corner? How big is it?
Like one you wear on your finger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's where the glow is coming from?
Yeah.
And it's just on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I perceive anything? I'm going to say, wow, someone was doing a lot of spells in here. And I'm going to cast create flame, so that produce flame, so that everyone else can see. And it casts in a radius of 10 feet, so they can see clearly. And then I'm going to see, do I perceive, obviously I want to pick this ring up, do I perceive anything dangerous about it?
Sure, make an investigation check.
Okay.
Lorelith, as this light enters the space in the full room, starts to glow, you can now very clearly see lots of bones in this room, piles of human bones pushed off into one corner on that backside.
I think I would also say that I'm thinking magically as well. If
Sure.
there's any dangerous spells. Do you want me to do investigation still?
Yeah, do investigation. I'll have you do a separate Arcana check.
Investigation. 16?
Okay, and then do an Arcana check as well.
Okay. 14.
Okay. You've kicked up a lot of the dust in the room that you can now see has even broken some of the spell writing that was there. And what was intricately placed at one time, and whether it was still active or not, this seems more dormant than other areas of the magic you've seen throughout the lab. And as you kind of like rushed in to kind of see this ring and some of it's gotten brushed around, there's not a lot here to study, except that
Pilgrim here, we had some fantasy technical difficulties with our fantasy microphone, but Thule found a mysterious ring.
And I'm gonna say, whoa, Pilgrim, look at this. I'm gonna pick up the ring with the cloth and be kind of holding it in the cloth with the produced flame. Be like, what do you think about this?
and
like
the shadows kind of on the right side of Thule's face kind of pushed across, and this dimly lit fire within the small room you can see within the cloth and the ring in the hand. As you both are looking closer at it, there is a small, clear, almost crystal sphere that is the main gem of the stone. You can see kind of like lines and cuts within it that make it shimmer the firelight in off angles, and even as the red light hits it, there's still some blues and greens that pop out of it. But it's like perfectly spherical. And then two bands of metal that come together get very fine, and it's no longer just the thick one piece of metal that is attached, but towards the end where it gets by the sphere, it breaks off into small tendrils that are wrapped around that sphere. And so there's little tiny thread-like ribbons that are wrapped around that gem to keep it set in the stone.
I love metal bands.
I'm gonna now focus on the ring. Do I sense what kind of magic? Do I have any idea what this could be for, or
Sure.
anything like that?
Make an Arcana check as well.
Okay, and I'm asking if anyone else is standing around me. I'm also asking them, like, whoa, you guys, what do you think about this?
No one's there.
Pilgrim's there. I know Pilgrim's there. You said Arcana?
Over, you can make an Arcana check as well, if you want to.
13.
I'm just kind of getting close, peering.
Or you can give advantages. You're both looking to over either one.
I have +5 Arcana.
I'll give Thule advantage
Okay.
Okay.
as I'm looking.
Oh no, it's worse. 13 was nice.
So your help in kind of looking this over and drawing back on some knowledge of the creation of magical items from your home, that you know that often when an item is enchanted, to get to know its innate value and what is being put into it, spending time wearing it or just trying to connect with its magic would very likely reveal the uses of what the magic is inside. So sometimes a very gifted magician can read and study and look at an object and just know what it does by that type of study. Rare and unoften, but a very clear way would be to just actually like wear it and interact with it for a rest, like an hour's worth of time.
I'm kind of like bent down, like peering right at the ring, and then or hold. You have it like on a cloth, basically. I would say our track record with stones is not wonderful. There seems to be some sort of stone in this ring. And I am going to just try to like bend in really close and like attempt to mind link with this weird sphere. I'll say, hello?
She says, what are you doing?
I don't say, yeah, but I mind link to what I try to focus as best I can on this little sphere that I see and just send a hello.
Yeah, you don't feel the connection. And the most recent time you tried to do this, was with the creature, the body that was in the tube just in the other room minutes ago. And so even then you felt the connection of the mind link, even though there was nothing on the receiving end. This time it just empty and doesn't feel like it's latching on.
I don't think any presence will try to arrest our minds with this particular thing. Will you be wearing it or will I?
Well, listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I would love to wear this. However, you saw it first. So if you want to, it is like all yours.
I just kind of smile and I give a little head nod and kind of be my guest sort of kind of gesture. And I am going to step back and or I'm going to go past her, I guess, kind of over to the bones and just, I'm going to say that I kind of start individually like mage handing bones around, just kind of shifting them, seeing if there's anything under them, around them, if there's anything that I would notice on the bones, anything.
Okay, make an investigation check.
I'd love to.
Dead bones, dead bones.
Well, that's a 6 plus 6 is 12.
Okay, as you start to sort through and just in your own thought processes and
The only good modifiers I have.
Yeah.
and just the way that you're kind of thinking about methodically doing this, you start to separate by like size and type of bones and just trying to just put them and move them aside. But
In really neat piles.
and with that, you start to sort through that there's maybe 7 or 8 individual bodies, skulls, like things like that, and all the cluster that's here. But that's it. You don't find anything underneath.
What he just said was really dumb.
Does Pilgrim know that they're humans, or am I the only one that knows this information at this point?
I think over time and looking at it, they seem very human. It's not like a super difficult thing, but like wasn't your first thought. But as you're starting to explore with it,
I just realized I never shared that information.
yeah.
Those peoples.
I'm gonna. Yeah. Now it would see there appear to be multiple former humans here, based on the bone piles that I'm very neatly making in this corner. I'm not sure which of us is most equipped for this, but I wonder if these bones would, how do I put this, match Cicero's skeleton?
Is
Let's
that
go ask him.
I don't know how much we've stared at Cicero's face enough to recognize bone structure, but like, if there's a skull, is there any category for like? Well, I am saying Pilgrim would. I think as I'm saying this, like I'm mind linking one of the most intact human skull I can find, and I'm just kind of bringing it like right up to it. It's still like not willing to touch.
Mage handing. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, mage handing.
Who are you?
Dog, damn it! No, I'm mage handing this skull, kind of just. I'm having a little Hamlet moment to be or not to be, but
Alas. Where you are?
I'm looking, and yeah, I guess just like based on the skinless skull, is there anything reminiscent of Cicero's face?
Sure. Make a medicine check.
Yeah.
Classic check that I love to make.
Can I ask?
You know, I like
Should
that.
I
I'm
ask?
sure this one's a weird like biology.
Is Cicero still here?
You
I
can be in the
really
room.
like
Cicero, come here.
Make just a general intelligence check. D20 plus your intelligence.
I can do exactly that.
And you wanted to hop in with us?
Yeah.
What were you thinking? Just kind of the same lines.
Well, I guess I was thinking
Frick.
maybe more of like what I know about. I don't know that I know anatomy as much as like I've seen a lot of bones in my day.
Yeah, you can
Oh,
you
yeah.
can do a nature check.
Okay.
that's great.
Yeah.
Since Tuli made the connection before, can I?
So intelligence check, yeah.
And Tuli would say, oh, you think these are like clones?
I
And
Oh my gosh.
kind of
Well,
mage hand it over to me, and then I kind of like pivot on the spot so that this. I'm gonna kind of spin the skull. My roll was a 7, so it's
Okay.
not But I'm kind of rotating it slowly and kind of just getting it in front of the whole group so that we can all...
Yeah.
12.
Okay. As Pilgrim turns and the lighting just hits different parts of this skull, both of you are looking and comparing as you've got some others in a pile that he had set up. And though no direct connections are made to like, oh, this is like the way that Cicero's left cheekbone does this, like nothing like that. It's like, clearly like face to face is identical, but looking from skull to skull, that in the way that the different like creases and the bones meet to the full skull plate like fully merged together, and you can see those like lines where that happened. The patterns are identical from skull to skull.
Oh. These are clones.
I have to do these are clones.
A grand clone army.
Sorry, Loyal doesn't know that word. It seems that all of these skulls are identical, almost as if someone made the same person over and over again.
Like clones.
I don't know what that word is.
You can make a person.
I'm gonna...
Apparently.
So they're brothers.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of lower the stone... No, not the stone. The skull to the ground again and kind of go back to whatever the kind of back area where all this was. Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of firmly pushing against walls, doing a whole secret chamber vibe check on the room.
Mm-hmm. You did an investigation check earlier, which all kind of falls into that too, but you add more time into looking for any secret or additional areas to this, and nothing feels loose or that would trigger any type of change or transformation of the room.
So he's going to say, well, I don't know about you guys, but there's a lot of stuff we did not, peruse in this dungeon. So, does anyone want to be my, look for treasure buddy?
Mm-hmm.
And, go back through the rooms?
Yes, I definitely do.
Just, super quickly, almost, as a, trying to say how I don't want to roleplay that. I just want to go back and, see what we see. Is that possible?
Oh, we gotta explore the whole place, though.
And I'm gonna kind of sort of end up and be like, oh, and while I deeply admire your enthusiasm and fervor for exploration, and Pilgrim kind of gestures towards the demolished chalk drawings on the ground, perhaps we don't quickly peruse what we tread lightly as we do peruse the rest of the dungeon.
You make a great point. Okay, Julie wants to moderately quickly peruse.
Okay.
Stuff.
I will remind the group as well of we get a portion of what we find, so the more seemingly worth money things we find.
There's gold in these girls.
So he says, oh yeah. And meanwhile, she's casting in the hand that's wearing the ring, she's casting different cantrips, Grease Flame.
Yeah.
And she actually cast Firebolt at the wall, a little too close for comfort. To y'all. Just kind of watching it. And so while she's doing that, she's trying to observe any effects. But she says, oh yeah, while she's doing that, how does that work exactly? So we have to give him everything that we find, and then he gives us a portion of money for it. Is that right?
Yes.
Interesting. What if I want to keep this ring? And she's still doing the...
Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about when we were talking about the stupid contract.
When we spend too much time talking about the contract.
It's
when we agreed to have him build Cicero a house in Cicero.
And now okay, no, Cicero's my friend though.
Don't need something?
Go find your dad. Please find your dad.
Go find your dad.
Yeah, we should just get what we can, and then just don't tell him we didn't find it.
Miserable. That's future us's problem,
Yeah.
Let's just find the stuff.
Right.
And then,
that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll say it again in the future.
Okay.
I mean, you don't know what I'm going to say.
Pilgrim kind of takes a bracing breath, and I'm going to grab two skulls with my hands.
Yep.
No longer magic.
Okay.
And
No
keep
pieces
them.
of glass?
No,
Okay.
keeping 2 skulls.
Okay.
Putting them in my bag I have, I guess.
Yes.
How many skulls are there?
Back appears like that. No, you have a backpack.
We're in a lab.
Yeah.
Are there any herbs or things that I would want here?
There could be. You can explore around for that.
Okay.
Cool. So
That's all
exploring around looking for ingredients of stuff. Exploring around looking for
I do that.
magic and value.
Books, papers.
Looking for anything of value. You got your skulls. Anything you were actively wanting to do in this time?
Got your skull. Two-step.
I'm gonna turn to Gwen. Gwen, anything in particular you are searching for on this field trip?
No, probably just, we've signed on to be loyal to our contract, so the more valuable things we find, the more money we get back in our pockets.
She is a businesswoman.
What is the bone to currency ratio?
That's a good question. Do you think they're special bone? Are they fancy bones?
If Viscero / breath /
Iosoro?
Srith?
what? Who?
Mekon.
Mekon.
Pause. I'm pausing in game. Was it Isero or Viscero?
Viscero is his
Viscero is the
dad.
Their
father.
last name
Iosoro.
His
Viscero.
terrible father.
Isero.
Their last name is Isero.
Iosoro's the grandfather.
So who was
I don't
Birth?
know at this point.
Birth? No one.
Brith.
We were all birthed once.
Maybe.
Oh, right.
We don't know yet.
Who was Birth? That was Viscero.
Right.
We still don't really know.
No.
If
Yeah,
this
we don't know.
B word was able to successfully duplicate a human, and I pull the skulls back out of my backpack I've had the whole time, and I say, that seems like it could be worth a lot.
Even if not to Big Rick, then I think we have other friends who fancy the sciences, such
Agreed.
as Bunkin or Fairgrand,
Fairgrand.
that could be interested in these duplicates
Who,
as well.
frankly, with each passing moment, I regret leaving the stone with. Because it would be very useful to have here, at the very least. Despite what he may or may not be doing with it. I'm going to grab a third skull. And put those all
That's
in my
helpful.
backpack.
Show it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, you better. It could be twins. I guess it could be triplets.
Can we scout Cicero to find out what his skull looks like? No? Okay.
Cicero. Wait.
I'm busy. What?
Yeah. I guess that's right. I mean, we could compare his face to the skull while he's here, but I guess we can't do too much with him while he's not among
Maybe I
us.
have some selfies
But-
of us.
That's a good point.
No, he's still
Fantasy
there. You don't have to-
Okay, well, I'm gonna pull one out, and before, I'll just call over Cicero, and I want to hold the skull right up beside him.
Yeah.
Try to get his attention, try to flag him down.
Yeah, he's at this point sitting with Mekon at one of the tables in a room that had knocked over some bookcases and wasn't fully explored yet. And he's poring over some of the pages of stuff that was written and kind of discussing some notes with Mekon. And you come in and kind of stop him, and he puts his finger on the page where he was at and just looks over, and then you just skull up next to his face.
Skull up?
Tell me, Cicero, do your transformative abilities allow you to morph into what you would look like with no skin?
Good question.
I'm doing this while I hold the skull inside.
I don't think so. And then you see his skin just get very amorphous for a second, and it's like there's no facial features until it just reverts back to Cicero, and that felt weird. And then you hold the skull up. Make another intelligence check.
Okay. Hello?
What are you looking for?
Oh my god. Why didn't you answer me? 19 plus 2, 21. 21, episode 21.
21?
Automatic super success.
Yeah.
A mega pint of success. General cheek and nose structure is what is pointed out to you the most, of where the skin would hit on the cheeks here, and what you're looking at Cicero, and then where the kind of point of the nose is before it starts to turn downward, and you can see similar structure between those points.
And his similar companion is with us right now.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, and those features are the same with Mikon as well.
Mikon, what happened in this room? These skulls all seem to match you all.
And as he was very patiently, almost like non-responsive, waiting for Cicero to start talking again, and he was just sitting there in deep in thought, and you get his attention. He looks over. You can quickly gather that he's not fully comprehending and comprehensive of being able to talk, think, remember, and interact, that he seems very just reactive to what people are saying and things around him. And so you say his name, and he kind of perks up and looks over, and then when he starts to remember and think back, it's all very foggy right now. It's not piecing together yet. And then he's just staring off down at the table as he's still thinking through the question.
I am gonna just kind of put a hand on his shoulder and say, "It is okay to not be able to remember. I trust that you will find your memories one day." And I'm gonna kind of nod to him and Cicero. I'm gonna leave it, join the party, and explore the rest of the
That's so sweet.
and the rest of the book. The end.
All right. If you would make an investigation check for me, you can also make an investigation check for me, as the three of you at least are splitting off, or in pods, or whatever, with your own different agendas.
Don't worry. I got the 2. Which
Okay, you
goes
can also make an
down
investigation check.
I'm gonna pair up with Gwen, and we'll be doing
to
our
2.
Cool. Everyone can make an investigation check. 2.
2.
13.
17.
again. 15 plus 2, 17.
Ha!
4.
Again.
Okay. So you both find something.
We're together.
Yes. And
A golden bee.
starting with you,
What'd I find?
what actually ends up grabbing your attention as you are running through different hallways and looking at some of the other rooms, and your mind is set on finding nature, and eventually as you're moving around you start to hear water, and that is like, oh yeah, that feels like it was
Finally.
what you were looking for, and it takes you to the room where the lion creature had stepped behind, and you're moving back to where it had come from, behind the bookcases. And as you move around it and you're stepping by some of the wolf creatures that you all had slain, and your wolf creature kind of padding along beside you and looking over towards theirs, but doesn't seem to care, doesn't seem to be hurt by the work that you all had did. It seems very loyal and sticking next to you. You peer around these bookshelves and you can see a 10-foot diameter circle that's very... not cleanly cut, but just like a busted down piece of where you have this like cemented floor and bricked up wall. This seems to be like an area that had busted in and is connected to a natural cavern that is completely filled with water. And what you can hear is some of just like dripping and moisture from the walls and stuff dropping to this spot. And so you have found a tunnel as you were looking down towards it with your dark vision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you can see that this tunnel drops downward and then eventually turns out, and you don't see an end to it. However, 10 feet down into it, you can see underneath of a stone a gold chain and a charm of a necklace that has been kind of pinned down and stuck underneath of this rock in the tunnel.
I get it.
You jump into the water. It's about 10 feet down into the water.
Uh-oh. Sad.
Has Laura left Red Harry Potter in the Deathly Hallows? That's not a good idea.
No.
You have mage hand friends.
It's a source down
I'll go tell them later what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. Do I find anything else? Any
There's no plant life or anything except for like some like moss and mildewy smell from this stagnant water being back here. Pilgrim, you, as you start to rummage through some of the other rooms and stuff with Gwendolyn at your side, the room that Cicero is in with Mekon, you stay in and you see some of the busted down bookshelves and things like that. As you're rummaging through, you can find, let me get my exact numbers here.
1 million coins?
You find a couple vials of a crushed powder that looks like blackish silver. And as you start to pull up one of the bookshelves, behind it is a massive like black iron pot that is chained down and like kind of bolted into the ground. And there's no like residue or anything within it. There's a lid structure on top of it that has been covered it, and you can see that all of the metal is completely intact underneath of this wood and stuff that has fallen down on top of it. As you are still rummaging through, you also find 4 bars of silver, 2 bars of gold, and then around that massive pot as well are smaller, almost replicas of that pot that aren't bolted down or anything. And as you look inside of those, there's a almost bluish silvery fluid that is in maybe 6 or 7 of these smaller pots around the larger one. There's also several torn up and raggedy sheets of parchment and things with like writing and stuff on it as well. But as you were digging around and trying to see like what else of value could be found within here, you found a massive pile of odds and ends just all within this one room that has survived the age and destruction of this place.
Are there any like empty vials around? Any sort of container that's not just a big black pot?
Nothing that's not shattered. And so you find a lot of glass pieces and broken things like that. The only thing that you have found intact are the 2 vials you have with like the kind of powdery residue within them. You two are just kind of roaming around and kind of hear and see what other people have found. You haven't added anything to the list, but you are aware of both of these things as well. And you were in tow with him, so you're aware of what's in this room.
Does anyone have a vial?
I think like Cicero did. Didn't he drink that dad potion?
Oh my god, he did.
Oh, gracious. Sis, how close is Cicero?
He left the vial behind, so you would be able to just grab that.
Well,
It's in the other room.
yeah, let's just cut all of that time out, but I'm gonna go get that empty vial and come back to this room and put some of the... And mage hand, so I don't have to touch the stuff, but I'm going to dip the thing into one of the pots and just try to fill it as best I can.
Sure. Yeah.
Blue goo.
Yep.
Also Deathly Hallows-esque.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to envision Thule popping up behind Laura, like unannounced.
Oh my gosh.
Do you need help?
Hello. I mean, yes and no. There's a gold chain down there that looks like it could be important, but I don't really care about it.
Interesting.
If you're able to, it's 10 feet down. Don't really want to get wet.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I've heard that exchange.
Tuli.
Can you use your...
Oh, duh. Great idea.
Yeah.
And she's gonna cast Mage Hand to try and grab it.
You also have that?
I do.
Great.
Yes, I can.
My beautiful gift.
Yes.
Oh, I read keyboard.
You latch it to the charm and you start to pull, but it is threaded around this rock that has fallen down on it. And so you pull and tug, and it's too heavy of a rock for a mage hand to be able to pull this through without potentially damaging the necklace. I'm not really sure what would happen if you continue to fight or pull.
I love heavy rock.
Is it possible? Is it? I don't know.
I didn't hear what you said.
But I love heavy rock.
What?
That's the second time he said it today.
No, the other one was
I love metal bands.
Whoa.
I don't know what the capabilities are, but what's the weight limit on Mage Hand?
Yeah, what if you combine
There is
hands?
literally
With combined power!
10 pounds.
I was like, I'm not 30 pounds.
Is it different for different people?
Oh, yeah.
Can you combine mage hands in these games?
Ooh. Waffle your mage hands?
Do you... Hey, Julie. It looks like you couldn't get it with your brain.
Looks like you suck!
Well spotted.
My question is... I have an idea.
You have great perception.
My question is...
I also think I should dive down right now and get it.
Here's another thought.
Okay.
How heavy would you say that rock was?
I'd say probably over 10 pounds.
Would you say over 20 pounds?
That's a great question. Let me just take a look at it and see what I think.
Pick up a nearby cat and compare.
That's what I told Joey to do for
actually-
Recall my geology.
I'll actually have you make an Arcana check as you were using your mage hand to move it, and you're going to be assessing from the magic power that you would put out about how much more it would take.
Okay. 24?
Great, yeah.
You know the weight in kilograms.
This is in stones.
Oh my god.
How many hands is it then?
Oh!
Maybe 2, hopefully 1.
2 would probably do it. You'd feel confident with that, of giving that a shot. Potentially not, but it would feel likely.
Pilgrim!
Yes.
Can you help us?
With what?
Mage hand.
Sure thing.
What?
I kind of come over.
Both make an Arcana check.
Yeah.
Collectively, if the both of you, your y'all's total is going to have to be above 20 to do it.
Jiminy crikey. That's not hard.
Yeah, what?
23.
15.
23!
So,
The rock shoots out.
it's a large-sized rock that does eventually just slide, and then the gravity of the tunnel, the way that it's shifted, assists and tumbles downward, and then this chain with the charm is you're rolling with the higher check, you have more control over it. You pull a necklace up from the depths.
Hey, way to go, mage hand.
Whoa.
The things we do to not get wet.
I pull the chain up and rest it on the ground, and then I do my mage hand up to do a high five.
Mine's is air, but I force against her hand.
I was does it actually form a hand in the air?
It's invisible.
Oh, never mind. Well, it says a spectral floating hand.
Mm-hmm.
Very spectral.
I think my subclass is invisible.
Yours
Police
is
is
visible.
fiery.
Yours is not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa.
So I just bumped into hers
Whoa.
with what looks like air.
Okay. Did you help at all?
The flames go.
Yeah, so good job, Dooley. You did that all on your own.
Great.
Hey guys, I would have just jumped in the water if you asked me to.
That was my next.
Yeah.
I would have jumped in the
I
water to
might
move
anyway.
a punk rock.
Maybe we could have used an alternative rock.
This has gone too far.
Eddie Izzard. No, that's not a rock person. I'm gonna leave. Pilgrim's gonna walk out of the room now that he's helped. I kind of nod to them, and I nod to the necklace, and I walk out and continue investigating.
Okay.
I would like to investigate the chain and the necklace to see dangerous, magical.
Sure. Arcana check as well.
14?
From the nature of the necklace itself, both the iconography that's used, so the charm is an anchor that's on it, but it's the
Refused to
chain.
sink.
I was gonna say the inscription is refused to sink.
But the chain and the charm are both solid gold. And you can see that there's some magical inscription on it as well. And between the magic and just the way that the charm is constructed, that the magic of this is related to water in some sort. But
Does it say refused to
does not say.
Maybe it teaches you to float.
I mean, she could not fully decipher the runes that were written on it, so maybe once translated, the magic language could say refusing.
We're sorry for our fans that have that tattoo.
I don't think any of our fans have that tattoo.
It's an anchor with refuse to sink?
Yeah.
No, it's just an anchor.
No, I'm talking about the tattoo.
Yeah, we can talk about that later.
But it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. You're
Comedy
correct.
sometimes you have to.
I don't know what that means.
Julie's gonna explain this to Laura and then say, listen, I'm gonna be real with you again. Sometimes the best way to find out what a magical ring does is
Okay.
and she gestures to the ring and then say, I don't think it's dangerous.
Okay.
I mean, you found it, so
Do you want to wear it?
Listen.
walk out of this
Like, we have 6 crowds around my neck.
It's like being like a parasitic magic. It's like,
My eyes are like roll back. I was gonna say, I don't want to hoard all of the magical items. Is there anyone else there? I would say, does anyone else want to try it? I mean, I totally will.
I would love to try it, but
Okay.
I totally get it. I mean, you found it, man. So.
Well, actually, she found it.
Well, she definitely doesn't want to try it.
I don't. I would not like to wear anything that was not made by humans.
Do you want to arm wrestle for it?
Yeah.
Strength. It's a strength check.
You'll run to the nearest table where Cisco is reading over some notes and 2 elbows hit. He doesn't even look up.
The most classic contest of strength.
Strength check.
Strength check.
Why is this happening?
I was like, where's my strength? It's the normal one. Yeah, 2 minus 1, that's 1.
I got a 10, so also nothing.
Better than 1.
Someone wins.
As these arms lock in, both of you, not too scathed from the fight earlier. I think you've taken like a couple scratches, like there was like 1
Yeah.
hit of something that you took.
Yeah.
Julie, I don't think you got hit or much at all, but so both of you fully energized, ready to go. Julie more energized, I
I have
suppose.
magic.
But yeah, hands lock, eyes lock, and Julie looks like she's taking it a whole lot more seriously than Misery is.
Picturing her hair, getting all, excited.
Julie counts it down, and Misery is like, huh? And then your arm is immediately.
I break his wrist.
You got it.
That's my rock wrist.
Take 15 points of damage.
Julie,
15 bludgeoning damage.
Julie, you looked up to Misery a lot before this moment.
Oh no!
But
No.
you just can't help but notice that was really easy.
Julie is still a super fan, though. Don't worry. She's
that's fine.
blindly loyal.
Almost broke my playing fingers. You gotta chill out.
Julie says, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?"
I think I'm okay. Just leave it alone.
Oh wow.
Put the ring on or something.
Also, you have
if
band
you
practice today.
Performance.
Okay. She's like, I don't even know if you could wear the ring now on that hand.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't.
Burn!
And then so she puts on the ring.
And the necklace.
And wait, what?
And
It was a necklace.
The fight was about the necklace.
Oh, I thought it was like a ring on a necklace.
No.
Oh, so I put on
You really thought it was Lord of the Rings. It's an anchor.
That's why I said precious.
Yeah.
So I was like,
No, it's the anchor charm on the gold.
okay, I'm sorry. So I put on the anchor. This is I would like to jump into the water with this.
Oh.
Oh yeah, water.
What's that
Anchor.
But
Instincts.
Immediately.
No, that's what I'm thinking. But Tuli's gonna say I'm gonna say I would really like to jump into this water, but Tuli also is high intelligence, so she's gonna say, but maybe somewhere more shallow. And then just
I will
I mean,
say
it's not like a straight down 10-foot tunnel. It kind of curves down. You could control the depth that you were moving
Like a
through.
beach.
In this week's episode, Julie drowns in 6 inches of water.
Tuli's gonna look over the edge and
She
say,
is made of fire.
okay, can y'all save me if I start to drown? Okay, thanks. And then she's gonna try and jump in, but very shallowly in a place where she could easily get it back off if she needed to, or whatever she needs to do.
Okay.
She wouldn't need a roll to get out of this one.
Oh no.
Whatever you need to do to not
Whatever
roll,
is the
and whenever
maximum
this
amount of
happens.
effort, the minimum amount of enough rolling.
So it truly inches down over the matter of an hour. Don't want to get too cold. Don't want to. But you walk through and you get to the point where it's like at your neck, and you look back towards your friends, and then look down, and you can start to see from your angle now the way that this tunnel then turns and heads straight out, and so you submerge fully underwater. You're fully submerged, and then you take a step down, and you eyes are open, can see clearly through this water, and you immediately attune to the necklace rather than waiting the hour that it would normally take.
Whew,
so
wow.
you can add the Necklace of the Shallows to your inventory.
In the shower.
This is Patreon-inspired magic item number 1.
Wow!
And so originally you would have to spend an hour with the necklace to attune to it. However, if you are fully submerged in water while wearing it, you are attuned to it immediately. While attuned to this necklace, you can dip it into any source of water for 5 minutes, and it will purify enough water for 10 creatures to drink.
Ooh.
You may also breathe water as if it were air to a depth of up to 60 feet.
Oh
and so,
gosh.
Go down.
So,
Perfect for
as
fire
this
tonight.
knowledge is coming to you, but you're stepping through, you can see with your dark vision in the shades of red that this tunnel beams straight out for maybe 30 feet and then opens, and you can see that there's like natural seaweed, and just as this fogginess kind of fades out, you recognize a vision you've seen before, the depths of Lake Georgina.
Yeah.
And as you see this and you realize that this tunnel leads into the lake, you gasp. And you suck in air and you realize you can breathe it, and then all of the information about the necklace and you begin to read to it comes together.
Beans.
Okay.
Daddy Trule's about to skin you alive.
Yeah.
Tully's just kind of floating for a second, and then she like kicks up really hard towards the surface and is like looking. So Tully's hair is weird. It's like hair, so it looks like normally slicked back, but just now it's like embers, like kind of maybe starting. I'm just like
You're
looking
good.
this up to
You're
okay.
complete freedom.
And she like looks at y'all and she's like, it doesn't say anything, just
What happened?
y'all. Listen, a couple things.
Really
Number
simple.
1, and then I explain what the change. Well, okay, I'll actually say it. This thing, and like pulls it up. It lets me breathe underwater and purify drinking water for us in our travels.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I haven't
Also-
drank water in weeks. I guess it's only been like 5 days.
She says we can fix that. But enough about that. This is a tunnel that goes out to Lake Georgina.
Secret tunnel!
I can literally see the seaweed of Lake Georgina out there. What, like, do you think this is how the creatures are getting in and out of here? Or, like, what do you guys think? Until he's, like, climbing out of the water.
And then Pilgrim walks back into the room because I did leave.
Oh, sorry.
He's like, Dooley, did you fall into the water?
Tuli says,
It says all of the things again.
says fall, jumped, tomato, tomato. And then explains what she just said.
Yeah, I let her have the necklace first, and then she
Do we... So, creature number gone in the other chamber perhaps is here now, do we think? Do we think this is the passage it took to get from its glass chamber to the depths of Lake Georgina?
You
So
have
they
high
guess-
intelligence.
Do we want to find that out now, or do we want to return later with the stone?
Do you guys want me to, like, swim out and just stick my head out?
Well, you gotta come back.
Okay.
But also, I want to go. Like, it seems like the crab needs to be out there. I want to kind of kick some crab butt, you know?
So if I see them, I will swim back super fast. Here's the issue. What if I draw them back here?
That's fine.
So misery votes yes.
Here's my thought. It could be useful to have a mental connection with whoever's in the water so that we can communicate if there is danger easily. I certainly can't breathe underwater, but I can hold my breath for a period, so perhaps we time it so that someone who, I'm so sorry, is not who will not be harmed by my mental intrusion, puts this necklace on, swims further in with me maintaining a connection mentally, and perhaps we operate that way. Could we say?
Tuli already has the necklace off. And would she know that Can anyone use the necklace? Would she know that?
Yeah. The process of disconnecting the attunement to it and then reattuning would take the full hour. But when it was not attuned, then to attune, that happened instantaneous because of the way the necklace is.
Okay.
Yeah. So immediately changing this over to somebody's like connection magically to it is actually going to take about an hour if you wanted to spend that
I'm
time.
so glad that
We also, health-wise, though, I was going to bring up a short rest at some point.
But also time-wise, you have a show tonight.
Yeah.
And so knowing that it could take 4 to 6 hours to get back, it took you 4 to 6 hours to get here. That
we run
much longer time, like spending an hour here, you'd be cutting it really close. And it would hope to not run into any issues on the way.
Here's a thought. Oh, was all of that public knowledge?
Yeah.
Okay. It seems as though we have potentially found a shortcut, as one might call it, considering this is the lake.
That's like
So someone could go get a boat, come back, and we all swim into the boat, and then we get back faster.
Also, if it takes 4 to 6 hours for us to return to town, we could all just wear the necklace for an hour.
What?
no.
Who? What?
Sounds like a math problem.
It roughly, according to Lee, maybe, I don't know if you said this out loud or not, it takes roughly an hour to become attuned to this. It seems like this necklace would be a useful tool for any of us to be able to use. So, perhaps we make sure we've seen what there is to see above the water in this laboratory, cave, dungeon place. We scurry on back and take turns wearing this necklace for hour periods so that we're all attuned to it by the time we get back to town.
When you take it off.
Yeah, so attunement can only be to one person.
Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be like a toss it around, everyone can use it at the same time thing.
Never mind.
I thought you meant to take turns like swimming back with it.
Yeah, I was like,
And I was like, I don't save us.
No.
Julie's gonna say,
I see.
okay, so
this is totally.
it's really more of like a mental block than like an actual sickness. So if you give me a second to like meditate, I think that I can swim out and come back.
I would say that if you're willing to do that, that might be worth it before we head back with our findings.
Okay. So Tuli says like, okay, give me like 1 minute. And then like goes over to the corner and kneels and does cast produce flame and is just in a very like monk-like posture with the flame and like meditatively sitting, collecting her thoughts after a minute. And then she gets up and she goes to do what she said she was going to do. She says, okay, if the crabs are out there, I'm going to swim back super fast, and I guess my code word when I come out of the water is going to be like crabs. Okay? Does that work?
The crabs are here. Is the
The
code
crabs
word?
are here.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna kind of look and nod to like mind link,
Never mind, sorry, yeah.
and I'm gonna link and be like, yes, or just say crabs as soon as you see them to me.
Julie says, oh yeah, good idea.
Oh, you're swimming?
I'm just gonna go underwater as long as I can, basically, because it's only 30 feet that I can link out to people.
And you said it's 60 feet, right?
Yeah, so full tunnel to the edge of it.
And 60 feet that the charm works at. So
Depth.
At depth. So if I get out there and it's like deeper than 60, then I'm gonna need to like be testing it. I would be testing it as I go to make sure I can keep breathing. Keep breathing.
Keep breathing.
Keep breathing.
Correct.
Keep a breathe.
Okay. Julie looks pretty pale for mind linking, but she's going at it.
Cool. Mind link happens. Tuli heads down in. You watch her go till she gets about to the edge, and then you dip up, hold your breath, and sink down. As you get to the edge of this, if you would make a perception check for me with disadvantage, just as the dark vision and the length of space you're trying to see through is very challenging.
Oh no. I got a 19 and then I got a 2.
That's rough. Okay.
No!
And then
Well, and it was a nat 1 actually.
Okay, got it. Would you make a constitution check for me as you dip under and then hold your breath
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
Also, what's your Constitution modifier?
+1. 9.
Okay. So you get to the edge of the tunnel and you look out, trying to see through. You see thick into seaweed and kicked up like cloudy dust as the lake is just constantly in a little bit of motion, and it's never been like completely like crystal clear to see through except for maybe the first 10 feet or so. As you get to the edge of this tunnel and you can look up and gauge that you're still breathing, even down to the floor of this part of the lake. You could leave the tunnel and get down to the base of the lake and not be at 60 feet. So you could probably walk around the lake floor, at least here. Maybe not all the way through as it gets deeper and deeper towards the center. Seeing anything of note of like landmark, moving creature, anything like that, this just becomes completely unintelligible. Nothing is different. Blackish space and leaves and like overgrowth underneath, and it looks very ominous and scary even. That all takes a matter of 2 minutes or so of just intent looking out and trying to study. As you were watching her in that, and it takes about 2 minutes, a long time to hold your breath, and you are getting to the edge of your ability to sit and look and stay within the range to be connected with her.
I was gonna say, can I see like past the seaweed to like light?
Yeah.
Okay, when I look out and look up, do I see like a cliff face going up? Like how far do I estimate from where we are to the surface of the water?
20, 30 feet.
I'm gonna mind link to Pilgrim and say like, hey, so it looks like it's like 20 feet. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty scary out here. Do you think that being said, should I like swim up to the surface and just see what I see?
I will not be able to follow you there if you do. I'm going to have to turn back shortly. I will be just above the water though. So I would encourage you, if there is anything to be alarmed, you try to connect with me as you swim back. When you get close enough, I will be able to hear you, but it's a risk that I know you are more than capable of handling yourself. Do what you think is right.
Okay, I'm gonna swim up.
Okay.
I go breathe. I go.
Sorry, what was that?
You all see Pilgrim pop his head back through,
And then he goes.
living noises, unlike the diamond. And you feel the mind link disconnect as he moves backwards and you start to swim upwards.
I'm relieved.
And
like a
push,
whole new genasi.
Every turn is surprise.
it gets a little bit darker as you push out from the tunnel, and then moving upwards gets brighter and brighter and brighter until you emerge above in the surface for a second time out of Lake Georgina.
And I would say that I would do that very cautiously.
Sure.
As close to the cliff face as I could, just
Okay.
kind of peeking up to see what I see.
Take a stealth check.
Oh no. Dirty 20.
Okay, great.
Nice.
Sticking to the edge of it, actually able to breathe, like you and hold to the side and then climb your way up, keeping your eyes out towards the lake as you try and then get up towards the surface. Where you come up at, you can see that there's a shelf above this tunnel where you all were, where it maybe stays at about 10 feet deep, but is a solid rocky bottom. And that goes on for maybe 30 or 40 feet beyond. And then it turns immediately to the woods and this almost beachy shore of like a muddy sand. It's very wet. And as you see woods completely in about 180 degrees behind you, in front of you is unique water. Again, no marks or anything. Across to it, you can see a bit of like an island towards the center of this part of the lake, but then even as your vision goes beyond that to one side, you can see shallow 10-20 feet of cliff rock on the left side, 10-20 feet of cliff rock that shears up, and then trees and overgrowth and roots that grow down. No sign of where a populace is, no sign of where any path towards the city would be, because this is now like almost a finger edge of some of the part of the lake that extends out into these different juts and things like that. It's not like a circular lake or anything like that. That was a perfectly round visual across it, but many parts of it kind of stretch out into different streaks and fingers of more lake in nature.
So I'm kind of like in an inlet with like a beach and like cliff on each side
Mhm.
and then an island.
Yeah.
Do I perceive any creatures, any danger?
Make another perception check from the surface now.
Dirty 20.
Okay, great.
Why not?
See a couple different things.
Boring ass water.
So, across
Ass water.
on this island, you can see 2 large, mature chul walking around on the surface there.
But not the big daddies.
No, these are the larger ones.
Yeah,
They're
even
mature.
they're
You said
mature.
mature, so I wasn't sure.
Mhm.
Big
You
daddy
didn't
jewels.
say big daddy jewel.
They each have a nice newspaper in front of them. They're sitting down. They're being very dull.
Yeah, but
No,
big
but
enough.
these are fully grown jewel. And then you can see that their attention at this point is upwards. And then as you were looking, kind of meeting their gaze and what they're looking at, familiar to what you've seen before, you can see a goblin move from one tree to another. And then you can hear little chittering and calls as they're communicating to each other. And then a couple others move from one treetop to another as they getting some distance away from these.
Okay, as soon as I recognize that, I would immediately, very slowly, but like kind of like sluice back into the water and like
Sluice.
down. How like far is the island?
80 feet?
Okay, I'm gonna go back down and report what I've seen.
Sure.
The goblins above go, did you hear a swoosh?
So Jewel just the Jewel go.
That sounded like a marching band stuck in mud.
Sluice?
As you hug the side of the jagged stone wall, that is both weirdly the exterior of this lab, but also naturally part of this mountain, and you're pushing yourself downwards and sinking until you find your tunnel. Your mind link connects at one point as you start to round the corner into the tunnel and proceed and rejoin the group.
Can I like give to
Yeah.
Ogre just all the images that I've so I tell him everything and like swim back and like pop out.
And the moment she's back, I disconnect. Well, half dozen. What do we call ourselves if Cicero's leaving?
5/6 of the half dozen.
5/6 of half dozen. 5/6 of half. I can't do this.
5 dozen.
We
Steven just gets up and leaves.
I'm done.
No.
We have learned much on this trip. Is there anywhere else in this complex we want to explore before we head back to the town?
Because I don't think we should go that way.
Sounds like it would be rough. For us. Especially me.
I think we could take it.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
I would blink to my death. I would die. I think it is time for us to return to the town. What say you?
Did we explore everything?
Hip hip.
Is our map complete?
I
Okay.
thought of something earlier and I can't remember now, so it's not helpful.
You wanted a short rest.
Oh yeah.
Separate from that though, but we won't have time with your show. That's okay.
You do have a show to get back to, Misery.
I have a show.
We also might face some things. Yes, we also might face some things on the way back. So
Very possible.
Goblins.
Yeah, don't forget they're still there.
Would we have time for a short rest before the show? Pre-show short rest?
Mike, super short rest.
how are we all health? How are we feeling?
Big did so.
I mean, I'm close.
That was with the attunement. Short rest is
If you
also
were,
an hour.
if you were to spend an additional hour to, as part of the investigation and everything that's
Right,
happening
was
throughout,
that
you would
restful?
use part of that time. But if you were to also spend enough time to then bandage up and do any type of restoring of abilities and health in that time, you feel like probably get away with it as long as there were no other delays, significant delays to travel. That it would line up fine. But
Do you just need short rest to heal? No?
I'm at 14, which I know is really good for most people. 14 and 38. Am I more damage than most people? Because that's fine.
That's a lot of damage, yeah.
That's
I'll
more than
heal
a
you.
kilogram of damage.
Is it?
there's that. You could use spells to heal that would be more instantaneous. You made some healing salve at one point
did.
earlier
I
that
thought
could
we were
also
all
be used.
bad. I don't.
I'm fine. I don't.
No, I'm fine.
I'm at
I'll
10 out of
just-
17, so
I must have
like.
taken.
Yeah, I might heal both of you.
Right.
I'm at 18 now, 21.
Yeah, I'm at 18.
So 14
You
out of
said
38
I'll
is
just
great
kill
rest.
you, and I definitely heard I'll just kill you, and I was
You only have 14 hit points?
How is
I'll just
that?
kill you.
Now's my
And
time.
then you start a new character, and it's solved.
like, how is that helpful to anything?
I will say to Misery, also I don't think it would be the worst thing for your brand if you came back like covered in blood, say something kind of bad happens on the trail on the way back, Like
Ooh,
if you're like a little bit late but you roll up and you're like, sorry guys.
that's very good.
I don't think you'd be mad about it.
I wouldn't.
Maybe let's
find
not.
some goblins.
I
Let's
don't
not
want you to bleed.
purposefully. Let's not purposely find goblins. If that's
No,
okay.
I would
Let's
I would
purposely
love
find
that.
goblins.
No.
I'm gonna cast Healing Word on.
Just if he was worried about his delay.
Well, you get 6 hit points back.
Who's, oh.
What is your healing word? I'll just kill you.
I'll just kill you. I'll do it to you too. I have
Thanks.
twos. I have all
Betty?
my first level spell slots. My healing word to you is. If I have to, I'll help you. You also get 6.
Thanks.
Any other preparations before heading out back to the woods for the hours of walking?
We are gonna try to be
Quick.
quiet.
Quick and quiet.
Eat all my food that I have.
I realized an ability that I have after the fact last time, which is
Breathing.
Breathing.
Living noises.
Living.
Mask of the Wild.
Tell Elizabeth that's going
I have Mask of the Wild.
Which does.
I can attempt to hide even when I'm only lightly obscured.
That's more of a.
No, I know, it's not helpful for the entire group, but I remembered last time I rolled really low on camouflage, and you were like, you put some mud on your face.
Well, that's also when you're completely not moving. That you could, like, almost PETA from Hunger Games paint on. And if you sit still in one place, you can very easily blend
I
into the nature.
see. Okay. Well, follow me. I shall lead the way like I did last time. You guys know I'm here.
okay.
Yeah, I'll follow up the back to keep an eye out for dangers.
Okay.
Bye, Cicero.
So yeah, some parting words from Cicero as he has spent some time reading.
Oh, right.
I weep tears of agony and sadness.
But not misery.
Saying bye to Cicero.
One point of note is that you have a stone that you can use to contact Cicero. He gave you one from before, right?
Yes.
Great.
Aw.
So he leaves one with you, and you're able to
Is
connect
there a
with
name
him.
for that?
I think sending stone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had
What happens if we use it? Do we call Tim while we're
Yes.
here?
Yep. If
ask
he's
him?
willing,
Tim!
honestly, if he's willing and able, we will actually call Tim, and
Yes.
Cicero can connect you about.
This is the stone.
It's a rectangular shape with clear glass on top.
Feeding the baby, what do you guys want?
He also starts to get information that there is an additional lab from some notes that he's reading that he's very invested in checking out. He wants to get more information on who this Brith person might be. And so I think I wrote some other stuff. Yeah, that there's other laboratories, other creations. He got to a point through reading that everything in this lab was created by Brith, and he wants to know more. And so from some of the notes that he read, he realized that kind of the next part of the trail was going to be in the mountains near a town called Dust Forge. And so he's heading there after some more time of reading through the notes. That's where Cicero's journey takes him. Mikon is going to join him. The keeper of this chamber is not. And so, also, as you all are running around, the lion creature did command the other wolf beings in this place to leave you all alone, and they cowered in fear away from him, and should you return without Cicero, you realize you're not really on good terms with this creature, but he was just doing the will of Cicero as he was around. So that could potentially be an issue if you were to return, which you all kind of understand as well. But that's that too. Yeah, and then you head out into the woods to head back homeward. We had this. Who was leading this, and you were staying kind of towards the back? Great.
Would it not make sense for us to ask Cicero to ask the lion to be nice to us?
Yeah.
Including that as part of it. The lion seems to entertain the idea. You can tell that it's not like fully convinced that that's like great and wonderful, but
Okay.
could go either way. You're unsure. You're in a rocky relationship with this thing.
Gonna have to roll the dice.
Rocky. Because rocks are everywhere.
How are you all intending to proceed? If you did do the entire thing stealthily, it would take a long time. Where now you start to push it more towards 6 or 7 hours. So you can kind of move that around and like choose sometimes stealthy, sometimes not. Or are we trying to be expedient and just kind of move through quickly?
I think just on high alert, we're just moving along, checking the trees.
Yeah. I don't know if we have to use stealth.
Mysteries sprints away.
Because I know where I'm going, and I have advantage because it rained recently.
If you're back.
So true.
I'm tracking us getting back.
We're tracking our steps from where we came from, reversely.
Yeah, so if you want to use that to help track for survival backwards, we can do that.
I like that.
What is your role?
Looking out for danger.
Okay, so perception, we've got survival with advantage, other folks.
I'm just looking, checking the trees, watching, observing.
Okay, so also perception between the two of you. Anything else? Cool.
Looking at the rain.
I'm looking for things to kill.
Okay.
Or get
Perception, survival with advantage.
Just looking for flowers that you can just...
Can I send Wolfie a few paces before us
Yeah,
to be sniffing out for goblins?
for sure.
And he will stop to notify us if he sees any.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll do that for him. Do your survival check.
What's that one?
18.
Nice. 18 plus.
Another 18.
Perception.
36. I got a 19.
Okay.
21.
I'm supposed to roll it.
Okay.
Perception will be bad. Yeah,
You
not
said
a
you were
one.
looking for danger, or are you doing perception?
Looking for danger.
Perception.
16.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm looking for
19?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. You get an immediate read on the tracks that you all had left to get back, to get here. And so you and Wolfie moving ahead. At one point, Wolfie hair raises, looks around, gets up to a tree, and it does a couple laps around the tree. And you get to a point where you recognize that this was a point where the goblins were before.
Oh my gosh.
As y'all's attention kind of gathers around that, and you hold still and listen. There are no signs of goblins or anything there. You feel confident. This is maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes of travel away from the cave entrance. As you all were leaving the cave area, you could hear the doors as it reformed and shut.
Are you going to be able to do what Cicero did to get us in there? I hope so.
Huh?
Are you talking to Tully or are you talking to Rachel?
No, Rachel.
That would depend on what Cicero did.
He just did some.
He did whatever the magic was on
We
the
will
board.
check the
configuration.
notes.
No, he just did a transfiguration and then said open sesame. That's all he did.
Yeah, he
Transmutation.
messaged it or
If you can do that magic, if you can't, we might never go.
he was the only one.
I can do conjuration.
Well, that's what
It's transmutation.
Isn't that the one where you just go...
Oh yeah,
There,
control
there.
flames. That's a transmutation
Is that the
cantrip.
right one?
Oh, neato. Great. I was going to say, I should have left the shoe in the door.
However, it doesn't matter.
Oh, good.
As you all had left that doorway and you found the trail of where the goblins were and moved maybe 20 or 30 minutes away, surprisingly to how attentive you all were being, at one point, Thule, a little bit behind, maybe like 4 or 5 feet, as everyone was trying to stick to the tracks and keep their attention forward. Thule, you feel for a moment that because you're counting people ahead of you and you feel comfortable with an additional person to the group, for a moment you're like, oh, there's somebody behind me. Oh, it's Cicero. Like, this makes sense. And then the moment you start to think, no, wait, the rest of the party is all in front of me, you turn and you can see a massive creature which you have not seen before because you were not at Cicero's cabin earlier.
Ooh, that looks cool though.
Oh!
The troll-like creature that destroyed Cicero's house has snuck up behind the group, and its arms reach out behind Tuli as she meets its gaze as it towers above her, and it reaches both arms around to try and grab her and lift her up.
Can I have a reaction?
You can make either an athletics check or an acrobatics check for me.
Okay.
Did you press
So I have a reaction called Justice Stance.
Yes.
Can I use a reaction?
No. Right now I need you to make an acrobatics or an athletics check.
That would just let me give an aid to a check.
Mm-hmm.
You said acrobatics or athletics?
Yes, either one.
I'm a troll. Who has a
I
thumb?
don't see acrobatics.
Who has a
It's
thumb?
dexterity.
Yeah, like he's good.
Okay.
That is
Okay, it's the same. Alright, I'm gonna do acrobatics.
Okay, you have to beat a 21.
Good.
21.
No.
That's a lot.
No, 5.
Okay.
Almost.
You were so close.
So, you all hear Tuli scream out as the claws and arms wrap around her and lift her up off of the ground. Both of them like bear hugging you towards this thing's chest. You can feel hot breath, wet hair comes down to the side of your face. The skin in areas feels very soft. And then when you even look over to your shoulder, there's this massive bulb of this yellowish fluid that is like resting on your shoulder. And you can hear it just... and then it turns and starts to run away with you.
Oh my god! You hear Tuli going, no means no!
And that'll be the end of session 20.
This non-consenting troll!
That's why you had to beat a 21.
It was a 21! Was there something you wanted to add to this ending?
I was going to ask a misery and I recognized it, but I have to wait.
We haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
A troll grabs Tuli.
We have to wait a whole week to find out what happens?
Everybody make sure you wear these same outfits.